Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Today is week 4 of the wartime ration diet. I have spent this week away on my holidays. During the war, they had this campaign called Holidays at Home. It was basically to try and ease the burden of the public transport, especially the railways, because they needed all that space to move around cargo and troops and military stuff and all that sort of thing. So, and also to help with the burden of the fuel. So in 1942, the government sent out a leaflet to all the sort of councils called Making the Best of Holidays. They had to basically come up with lots of really fun and interesting things for people to do at home in order to stop them going away, because we Brits, we do like a jolly good holiday. We like our jollies, you know. And so they came up with all sorts of things, you know, concerts and theatre productions and family films at the cinema and sporting activities and anywhere that was a good local spot for people to gather, such as the river or the parks, wherever, you know, they would try and put fun stuff on, you know, have an ice cream cart and things like that to try and gather you there so that you didn't feel like you'd missed out. I've made it to the seaside and in a little caravan, and me and Mummy, we only went for a few days, which is, you know, what it would have been, because very rarely would there have been the ability for you to take a whole week off and go on a holiday. Most people probably didn't get to go on a holiday, but you just make the best of it at home. With that being said, there's not been a lot of cooking obviously this week. It's been a lot of eating out. So that means I have got a decent amount of my ration left. Now, I'll show you my ration. No, so I've still got a bit in my jar. Then I've got a little bit more milk than I would normally have. Slightly bit more tea than I would normally have. That's because I've been drinking out. Egg-wise, we are now out. I've used up all the cheese. The jam, I've used a little bit, but really I've still got plenty left. What I've bought this week is just a loaf of bread. For the holidays, at least definitely for going, I made myself a tomato soup because I got so many tomatoes that I just need to use up, and I don't want them to go bad on me. So I thought, right, tomato soup, that'll use up quite a bit, and also used up some of my carrots as well, so that's great. I took a couple of jars of that with me, and I also made an apple tart. I made that this time with lard pastry, and I found that the Marge pastry held it really well together, even when it went to the thinnest of the thinnest. I don't think you could have gone any thinner, literally. But it held well together. So Marge pastry is really good for that, whereas the lard pastry, I found that once I rolled it just shy of how thin it was before, it tore. And there was nothing I could do about it. It would just, you roll it into a ball again, you roll it out, it tears. So lard pastry doesn't hold as well as Marge pastry is what I've found out. But in regards to the taste, absolutely fantastic. And then I made some cheese pasties. It was lard pastry with potato in the middle, sprinkled with cheese, giving illusions of a cheese pasty. So, getting on to our recipes for the week. Friday, I started for breakfast. It was apple pancakes and cream. And then I went to my local heritage railway station where they have steam trains and all the rest of it. There's an Anderson, there was a steam train coming. There's the ladies' waiting room, the gentlemen's holding room. There's the naffy, which is under the bridge actually, and I'll take you there one day. It's absolutely amazing. We had a latte in the tea room, which was really nice, listening to the old music and, good conversation. And then we went to the local pub, and she treated me to a veggie wrap and it comes with some chips. And then they also do this pudding where it's like a mini pudding and a hot drink to go with. And that was just spot on. That was a really good idea, that was. So I had a hot chocolate and a passion fruit mango-y kind of pudding thing. And then moving on to Saturday, it was shredded wheat for breakfast. I finished off the potato basket. I had some crackers with cheese and chutney. And then in the evening I had veg rice with lettuce and mayo, which again was very nice. It's something really simple that's thrown together in a pan, but it just works really well. And then Sunday was oats for breakfast, the other portion of veggie rice, a portion of tomato soup, and then in the evening I had a couple of the cheese and onion pasties. So all of that was then ready and made for me to go on my holidays. I find, especially in the thick of winter, especially if you've got early starts or anything like that, I know it's peculiar, but have a soup for breakfast because it warms you straight away. And it also hydrates you. You have to think you've had 8 hours of sleep of not drinking. So it's hydrating, and we live in a central heated, everywhere you go there's just heat, just draining the hydration from you. So if you start the day with a soup, it's really easily digestible, then it's a very nice gentle start to the day for your tummy. So I had a soup for breakfast, and then I had my 2 cheese pasties on the way. We pulled over, everyone was crawling, so pulled over and had the cheese pasties. And then we got to our caravan, we settled everything in, we had a walk along the beach. It was absolutely gorgeous. I've never been to that beach, and it just stretched. It just went on and on and on in both directions. It was lovely. It was absolutely gorgeous, and the sun that was coming through the sky, as it was dying down, and the shapes and everything. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So we got back to the caravan that evening, and on site they have a restaurant. So we had our evening meal there. I had a corn burger and a Coke. And then when we got back to the caravan, we had a slice of apple tart and cream, just to polish it off as pudding. Very nice. See, I made the apple tart because I knew I didn't have any sweet ration left, and I knew I'd need something. So that's where the idea of making another apple tart comes in, because I've got everything here and it's sweet enough that you're just like, oh yeah. And then Tuesday was cornflakes for breakfast. We travelled for about 45 minutes to one of the furthest towns that is semi-familiar to us, and we worked our way back. And on the way back, we we're around lunchtime, and we came past this farmer's shop, and it was absolutely peeing it down. And we were like, let's go and see what there is. Are you hungry, mother? Let's go. So we turned the car around and pulled in there, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So I had a leek and potato soup, which was really nice and very wartime. Very wartime. Some of these favourites, they haven't died away. They are ingrained in the diet of the nation. And Then it was apple crumble and cream for pudding on that one. And then in the evening, I didn't really fancy another big meal like the corn burger. So Mum had bought some pita breads, cheese and baked beans. So with that, I thought, yeah, I'm in the mood for baked beans. I like baked beans. So yeah. Before we went out and watched a singer. Oh gosh! But what struck me was that I mean, she was a good singer. Don't get me wrong, she was a good singer, but and she was definitely worth the wait. But leading up to it, like all the entertainment that the holiday camp staff people have to do, it was just exactly the same as when I was, I don't know, that tall. It's like, I was just like, nothing ever changes. And I found myself remembering the moves were coming back, you know, Agadoo and all the rest of it. And you just think, wow, yeah. This is so nostalgic. Because, you know, it's been a while since I've been at a seaside caravan entertainment complex thing, and yeah, that was fun. So on Wednesday we had cornflakes for breakfast. I finished off the apple tart and cream, very nice, and then fish and chips by the sea. That's what I went for. I went for two things. I went for fish and chips on the beach and the 2-piece lots. And both I had spectacularly. So my holiday was a complete success. Thrilled. The fish and chips, there was this one starling, and they're beautiful little creatures, and little striped birds, and it was just like, and I was like, yeah, okay, because the seagulls were staying way away, you know. And then he went and told his friend, oh, there's a nice girl that sat there. She's got a good, kind face. Maybe she'll give us some chips. And so she went and got their friend. And then the moment I started handing out the chip, I basically would break the chips into little bits and then hand it out. Woof! They all descended. I'm like, where have they come from? Obviously they've come from the fields or something. But yeah, they absolutely descended upon us. It was like, Mum was like, they're getting none of mine, you know, she's hiding them away. But what I have to say is, unlike seagulls that make a racket and they'll basically come up and jump and, you know, take it from you, these starlings were so well behaved. They queued like any polite middling, you know, and waited their turn. It was absolutely lovely. It was so nice to see. And then in the evening it was tomato soup and toast. So then on Thursday I had cornflakes for breakfast. It was jam on toast for lunch and soup and toast for the evening, because we were back by then. So it was just really simple stuff just to fill a gap, you know. Yeah, and then that's it. So I just want to say thank you for joining me, and yes, this week is Remembrance Sunday, so I hope you're all wearing your poppies with pride, absolutely, and just being thankful for what people give up and what they sacrifice for you, for being on the side of right. And God bless them.